All right, testing. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes? All right, good. I'm going to do your shtick here. Show of hands, how many of you guys work in the insurance industry? Okay, I saw your badge. I had you nailed. All right. So what I'm going to do is talk about the insurance sector a little bit and some of our offerings in that, but you can certainly genericize those into many other segments of the market. So Jody did a good job of explaining a lot of who NTT was, at the group level. I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm going to tell you a story instead. So about 10 years ago, I was working in an insurance company, and okay, I'm being coached to hold this closer to my mouth. Okay, so keep reminding me as we go through. All right. So anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, about 10 years ago, I was working in an insurance company. And just to give you a perspective for you IT folks out there, the .NET Java war was raging. New leadership comes into IT, the shop switches from .NET to Java, and everybody was busily writing service-oriented architecture, extensions to a bunch of old junk that was kind of sitting on the shelf, right? That was the infrastructure in those days. Unfortunately, a lot of that infrastructure is still in place today. I look at some of these companies I worked with, 10 years ago, and a lot of the same back-end infrastructure is still running in IT. But what's changed is you're looking at Dreamforce now, right, and walking around this floor, technology has moved pretty rapidly, right? Mobile and Salesforce and all of these features and functions that are now available as technical tools have moved quite a ways. And what's happened now is there's this increasing pressure on companies, in multiple industries, but particularly in insurance, in order to serve their customers in a different way, to put information out there that has not been available before, either through mobile devices or industry portals or things like that. And then with insurance companies, a lot of them don't actually sell directly to consumers. They sell through brokers, agents, et cetera. So that's even another tier of complexity around the technology. So a lot of pressure on this industry segment. We fundamentally believe at NTT that Salesforce is a very powerful enabling technology that can be leveraged in this particular industry. So Salesforce and NTT, my group NTT Center Stance in particular, have some pretty significant experience in this industry in implementing solutions. So when we talk about insurance in general, from a reference architecture standpoint, we look at kind of the front end of the business, which is how you go to market, right? Agent, brokers, portals, et cetera, mobile, all of these front end, how your information gets exposed to the people you need to deal with as an organization. Then you have the internal componentry of this. So like the management of your sales process, underwriting, rating, pricing, quoting, all of those things insurance companies need to do to provide their services. Claims processing, policy administration, this is kind of the back end of the solution for those of you not in the industry. The accounting stuff, and then a bunch of workflow management that's very tedious in a lot of insurance companies. So what we found is we've been working with insurance companies for a long time. A lot of the needs are extremely common. And as you look at things around the Salesforce platform, it's pretty easy to build out repeatable solutions using that technology. So what we did is we took our knowledge of this insurance space and a bunch of customer experience, and we said, okay, let's put together an accelerator that's built on top of Salesforce that allows us to start all projects a little bit further along, right? So we can bring some of this pre-configuration to our insurance clients. And so we started in two areas. One is on the front end of this, which is a mobile-enabled portal for brokers and agents. And then the other one is what we're calling Underwriting Workbench, which really addresses this workflow management piece, kind of underlying all of that. All right, broker portal. Let's talk about that for a second. So some of the common broker issues with the payers, it's difficult or inefficient to select products, right? So brokers' complaints are always around the ability to do their job in a timely manner. Timeliness of quotes, timeliness of contract generation, um, the underwriting process or where my application for insurance is very opaque to me as a broker. I don't understand when I'm going to get a result. Okay. Now, why are these important? The insurance companies, many of them sell through these brokers, agents, etc. They don't have direct sales organizations. And so I feel myself getting louder all the time. Anyway, so the brokers determine whose insurance product goes into the market. So if the provider is not timely in producing a quotation or a proposal or ultimately a contract, the broker will choose a different provider of services, right? So the brokers really, to a large degree, control the penetration of the insurance provider into the market. So what we've done to help address this is we've built out a broker portal. And this is something we can demonstrate for you, but it's a pre-configured set of software that is for use by the brokers to apply for insurance on the behalf of one of their customers. So I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but the point of the broker portal is for them to easily go in and break down and make the where their policy application, their quote, etc., is in the process, to make that much more transparent for them. And the overall objective is to provide a tool that makes them happier with the insurance provider so that they sell more of that particular brand product. The second piece of this is around Underwriter's Workbench. Now, there's really two main focus areas that we see, from our point of view around insurance, right? There's market effectiveness, and then there's internal efficiencies. And if you kind of stand back far enough, those are really the two things that you're mostly interested in. Internal efficiencies are about just removing barriers to getting things done, moving things along quicker, dealing with less interaction, right? A term that this industry uses, as others, is straight-through processing. It's the concept of an application coming in and running through automatically as much as it possibly can until it actually becomes an in-force policy. So Underwriter's Workbench really focuses a lot on that efficiency gain internally. So as I said, some of the common issues with underwriting is that pretty much underwriters' desks all look like this. Stacks of paper, lots of moving folders, lots of manual work, and a lot of systems that they have to interact with that are not connected in order to do their job. So it's a very manual process in most cases, and underwriting is a difficult task because of that. The second thing is, from a management standpoint, internally, there tends to be a very low visibility into where things are in the process. Again, because of this manual process, you don't understand where an individual policy application is in its life cycle and when it's going to be done. So many insurance companies, they put metrics in place that they desire to measure. For example, a new policy application, we have a standard of turning that around in, say, 3 days. How many of them actually make it within that 3-day window, right? Most insurance companies can't actually measure that because of these, extremely manual processes. So anyway, what Underwriter Workbench does is deals with, first off, a platform for integrating a lot of these dissimilar systems and pulling together that information. The second thing is it builds metrics around that, around workflow management. So this is standard, task and routing and workflow management that comes out of the box with Salesforce. And it puts the analytics engine on top of that, which shows a company the performance of the throughput of the really of the underwriting team, and the applications through in-force policies as that comes out. So this is a snapshot of the homepage for an underwriter in the Underwriter Workbench. And workflow comes in, and as you can see, there's two concepts here. There's tasks, and then there's work items. Work items have multiple tasks, right, as you're moving something through. And there's configurable intelligence, if you will, workflow rules behind this that allow you to prioritize the tasks and the work items for every individual underwriter. So when they come in, they log in every day. Here's the top tasks I'm supposed to work on today to get my job done. So a little bit less guessing, a little bit more organization to move the things through the funnel that the company has priority on. So that's the home page for, or the landing page for an individual underwriter. If you take that up one level, there's the concept of the Underwriter Manager, whose job it is to make sure things are moving through the department smoothly. So what you want to be able to do is, assign incoming work to individual people, and then see where that is, watch your backlogs, and rearrange workload if possible. And again, using some of the standard Salesforce features around work queues, we've built logic in here which is configurable that allow you to either self-assign out of the queue. In other words, you go get your work assignment. The manager can manually assign it, or there can be assignment rules where, based on the fact that I'm a junior underwriter, I'm allowed to do these kind of things. I don't have as many things in my queue as my peer. Now I get an automatic assignment for that work to be done. So just scratch the surface on this. This is something that we've got live, and we can demonstrate for anyone that's interested. But that's really the concept here, right? Underwriter Workbench, all about effectively and efficiently managing the underwriting process, and the broker portal focused on putting a solution in the hands of the brokers to help them preferentially sell your product. And that's the story from NTT on this. All right, any questions?
All right. Any questions? The voice. The voice. Here I am. The voice from above. Any questions for Greg? Any questions? No? Going once, going twice? Okay, well then give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, Greg.